Introducing you. All right, so welcome everyone to tonight's call about Baha processors. And our guest speaker tonight, Sarah Chinnock, is going to carry on with the presentation and share with us all what's up and new and coming. So Sarah, if you wouldn't mind, could you take a minute to introduce and tell us a little bit more about yourself before you get rolling?
Gladly, thank you. My name is Sarah, and I work for Cochlear. I've worked for Cochlear now for 3 years. I actually started at Cochlear, and I did Baha support, surgical support. So I was actually in the operating room with the physicians during the Baha surgery cases, and then with the audiologist during the fittings of the processors. So about a year into that job, I got asked to move to the consumer side of Cochlear, and I'm now what they call an engagement manager. And as an engagement manager, I work with individuals with hearing loss, considering getting cochlear implants or Bahas, those that currently have cochlear implants or Bahas, and, host community events as well as various other activities throughout the year. I actually have a early childhood and elementary degree. I have a specialization in special ed, and I also have a degree in the deaf and hard of hearing. So I'm a teacher of the deaf and hard of hearing, and before coming to Cochlear, worked 13 years in the school district providing therapy and academic support on a daily basis to individuals with hearing loss, as well as set up a program and transition kids in from private oral deaf schools because I live in St. Louis. So on to talk a little bit about Baha. As many of you may or may not know, Cochlear has actually launched many new Baha products in the last year, and so I wanted to get everyone up to speed on that. You're looking at, if you're on the call, if you're on the computer, the building on the front of my PowerPoint presentation is actually our building in Gothenburg, Sweden, and that is actually where the Baha implants and processors are actually made. So, trying to advance, and it's not advancing for me.
Sarah, at the top of the slide, there's an 01 and a left and right arrow. You should be able to just click that right one.
Okay. There we go. Thank you. So this is our whole Baha 5 suite. We're going to go through and individually talk about each of the processors, but I'm first going to start talking about our implant and then the different the different options that individuals have when getting implanted with a Baha. So our implants, they all start with our BI 300 implant, which is very stable. It's made with, it's thioblasted on the outside, and that is what helps it to be stable once it's implanted. And on in the abutment, there's two choices. You either can get a abutment or you can get a magnet. And we call the abutment the Baha Connect because it connects onto the processor connects onto it. And the attract is the magnet because there's two magnets and they attract to one another and the processor connects to one of the magnets. So those are our two systems. The Baha abutment has been out since we started doing Baha multiple years ago at Cochlear, and the Baha Attract has actually been out for about 3 years because I actually was in the Baha world when the Attract was introduced. And there's also the Baha Softband, which has actually changed in the last year as well. And the Baha Softband is actually round, and the Softband is worn until a child is usually 5 to 7 years old until the surgeon feels that it's safe to put the implant in and either put the magnet or the abutment on it. When it comes to deciding which one to use, the magnet or the abutment, that is something that is typically determined by the audiologist and the surgeon and the parent. And what which processor they use often is determined by that as well. So if a child has a significant conductive hearing loss or an adult has a significant conductive hearing loss and they want the attract system, which is the magnetic system, they may have to use the Baha 5 power in order to get the power, because what can happen is because of the magnet, you are losing some of the sound quality because it's not a direct connection. And as you most likely know, with bone conduction, we're using that bone to conduct the signal, and making a little bit of signal can get lost when it is going through the skin. So now we're going to start talking about our Baha 5. Our Baha 5 was introduced almost a year ago, and it actually has already won the Red Dot Award in 2015. And we've introduced a lot of new colors, and it's, as you may see, it's a lot smaller than any of our past generations, and it's actually quite a bit smarter as well, and we'll talk about that. In all of our Baha products, they are all automatic. They actually have something called Smart Sound IQ in them, and what happens is it actually scans the environment to determine if it's in noise or it's in speech or if it's in quiet, and it actually adjusts automatically, so you don't have to change the programs. It just happens naturally. And if for some reason someone doesn't like the automatic, you can override that and just have programs in the processor. Something new with our Baha processors, all the Baha 5 processors, is we have a new BC drive, which is the internal part. And because of our new BC drive, it's more efficient, and because it's more efficient, it allows there's less distortion, and it's a lot clearer sounding. So many people who, and you'll see this slide in a little bit, but many people, when they compared the Baha 5 and the Baha 4 on them, they actually preferred the Baha 5 because they felt the signal was clearer and better to understand. So when we talk about Baha, it actually comes, depending on the degree of hearing loss, and that depends on which processor you would wear. So if you were on a Baha, if you were wearing a Baha, just a Baha 5 processor, you actually would wear, you could have up to a 45 dB conductive loss. And then the next one is the Baha 5 Power, and it is slightly larger than the Baha 5, and you can actually have up to a 55 dB conductive loss with the Baha 5 Power, and it has the same BC drive transducer, and it also has an LED so that you can tell if it's on or if it's off, and so that's, or if it's receiving information, and that's a little different because our Baha 5 does not have that. The Baha 5 Power also has a volume up and down, so you're able to turn the volume up and down directly on the processor. And then there's also a program button, and both the Baha 5 and the Baha 5 Power both have the program button. All right. Sorry, I skipped. So one of the things that we have been, people keep coming to us and telling us that there's a group of individuals that we are not able to help because because our Bahas do not fit individuals with 65 dB or greater conductive hearing loss. And we had something called the Cordell, but it was a rectangular box, and it actually had to fit in your pocket or somewhere on your collar because that's where the microphone was. And it was not appealing at all to individuals, and we only sold 8 to 10 of them a year. So Cochlear set out to find a solution for that, and we were able to find that when the new Baha 5 Power was introduced. It provides power, and it's actually this time it's a head-worn device, which is something that people had wanted. And so what they did was they combined all the features of a Baha, but put it in our Nucleus 6 body, and so that is the Baha 5 Power. I'm going to go on and continue to talk a little bit more about the Baha 5 Power. It has the same Baha, the powerful BC drive transducer that both the Baha 5 and Baha 5 Power have, and that's going to make it clearer. It also has the Artyom platform, which our Baha 5 and Baha 5 Power have as well. It allows us to have that Smart Sound IQ, which is the scanning program. It allows us to have access to the wireless, which many people have grown to love. That is a TV streamer, it is a phone clip, and it's also a mini mic. They all three are made for iPhone, which means you actually don't have to have the phone clip to talk on the phone. You actually can talk, if you have an iPhone, you can have it streamed directly to your processor, and you actually can talk into the bottom or into the speaker of your iPhone, and you can talk on your iPhone, so you do not have to have that wireless accessory if you don't want it. It's Bluetooth smart, so you can connect to your MP3 player, or you can hook to your iPhone and you can listen to music while you're working out or while you're walking or just while you're doing your daily activities. And it also has access to the Smart app, and we'll talk about the Smart apps in the future. So when we get this much power in order to have this much output for 65 dB, we actually have to separate the microphones and the transducers. So the microphones are actually on the processor itself in the same placement as they are with our Nucleus 6 product, and then the transducer is separate. And because of that, it's because they are separated, you're not going to have the feedback that you would if they were together. Because it requires so much power, because it's such 65 dB loss, we actually, they use the same rechargeable batteries that our N6 recipients use, and it hooks into the bottom just like the N6 battery does, rechargeable battery does. So this is just, if those of you that are on the PowerPoint, this is just all of it together. They just say it's unbelievable smart. It's smart because of all the things that Artyom Smart platform allows it to do, and it's also powerful because the transducer is separated from the Artyom platform, and that allows it to have more power. And then obviously that powerful rechargeable battery helps a lot. So we're able to help individuals with all different types of hearing loss. You can use the Attract, you can use the Connect, and those individuals who have, you know, a 55 dB loss, but they want to have the Attract, they might actually need the power of the Baha 5 Power in order to get all the information that they need across the skin. So there are two systems, the Baha 5 Attract and the Baha Connect, and both of these systems can be used with all three of our processors. Again, as I said earlier, it's a determination between you and your audiologist and your surgeon as to which system is best for you. But do know that if you are looking at the Attract because you know, you're not going to have the abutment sticking out above the skin, and you're worried about, you know, taking care of it, you can't get the Attract, but you may require you might require the next processor in order to get all the information to the cochlea. So I referenced this back at the beginning of the presentation. It says 9 out of 10 patients choose Baha 5. So at Cochlear, we actually do some of the research ourselves, and then we actually ask some individuals from the outside to do some research for us as well. And like I said, what we do is we put the Baha 4 on individuals, and then we put the Baha 5 on individuals, and we give them the same tests, and they get to tell us which Baha they prefer and why they prefer it. And we say 3 things about our new Baha 5 suite. We say that they're small because they're very small processors. The Baha 5 Power is slightly larger, obviously, because it is worn on the ear, but the transducer piece that hooks onto the abutment or onto the attract is small. It's smart because it's iPhone ready and we have all the wireless, and then it's powerful because we have the ability to use all 3 of those processors depending on the type of hearing loss that the child or the adult has. They're able to hear easily because of the smart sound. It scans the environment and is allowing them to hear, and it changes depending on the scene. And then that transducer, because we got that new BC Drive transducer, there's less distortion, so it's a clear, crisper signal for those individuals. So with the iPhone, with it being iPhone ready, I said this a little bit earlier, but it goes, the bone conduction sound processor, the iPhone speaks directly to that processor, and you do not have to have the phone if you do not want to, if you want to hold your phone up, or if you want to, do FaceTime, or you can do FaceTime, and this signal goes directly into the ear, so you do not have to have any device. It just streams automatically. We have a smart app, and the cool thing about the smart app is it allows you to program, to change your volume and do some different things with your processor that you would not be able to do just by changing the program on the processor physically. And it also has a really neat feature called geo-targeting. And the neat thing about geo-targeting is if your child is at school, or you always go to church, or you always have an after-school activity, and you find a program or a setting that works for you on that in that situation, you can actually set it to geo-target, and the next time you arrive in that area, it'll pop up on your own iPhone, you have a geo-target, do you want to go to that setting, and you just push yes, and when you go to that, it goes directly to that setting, so you're not having to make any changes on your processor or anything. It just automatically changes everything for you. There are several other apps available as well. There's the Baha Control app, and the Baha Control app is actually available in the Google Play Store as well as the App Store, and that allows you to, it's kind of a remote control for your processor. And then there's the Baha Support app, which is available from Google Play and the App Store as well. And that just allows you to do some troubleshooting and some other things in case you were to have some problems with your Baha while you were out and about and you needed some help to try to figure out what is wrong with it. So wrapping it all up, we have more than 120,000 Baha recipients currently. We have been in the bone conduction space for about 35 years, and that building that you saw there in Sweden, you know, we're continually doing research and development and making sure that those individuals that choose to get a Baha have a lifetime of support and a lifetime of better hearing. So I kind of went through that kind of fast, so I'm going to open it up now for questions. Does anyone have any questions about the Baha 5 suite?
I do.
Okay.
I have a question. This is Anita, and I would like to know the difference between, one moment, the attract and the connect, the systems. So going back, go forward. Hold on.
I'm going back to the place where it shows them both. There you go.
Okay. The difference between the connect, or the attract, and connect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how do I know if I have a different audiogram in the hearing loss between the left and the right, especially if I have profound hearing loss in one ear? So which one would be better to use, the attract or connect?
Well, with profound hearing loss, it depends if you have hearing loss in the other ear. And if you have, and it depends on what kind of hearing loss you have. If it's sensory neural, a Baha may not be for you. It might be, a cochlear implant might be a better solution for you. But if it's conductive, you would need to sit down with your audiologist and the surgeon and determine if the Baha Attract or the Baha Connect is for you. And I will re-explain to you what a Baha Attract and a Baha Connect are. They both use the same implants. And with a Baha Attract, they put a magnet underneath the skin during surgery, and then they, obviously, they sew up the skin. You wait about 4 weeks, and then they're able to put the outside of the magnet and the processor on, and so the message has to go through the skin. With the Connect, they put in the same implant, and then they put an abutment on top, and that has to sit for about 2 to 3 months and osteointegrate, which means it has to become part of the bone, and we want skin to grow up around it. And when that happens, that's when they're able to put the processor that the audiologist chose for you on the outside. And then they have to program the processor based on your hearing loss. Does that answer your question?
Okay. So I was wondering about, my question is about the system. What options would I use if I have the one that goes over the ear versus the one that just connects to the skin? I'm trying to understand how that will work for people that have severe or profound hearing loss. I want to know the differences. Like, I just want to understand the nuances between each of them. What's making them different?
Okay, so what's making the processors different? So the thing that's making the processors different is the amount of power that each processor is giving out. Because what happens when you have a conductive hearing loss is for some reason the message cannot get to your cochlea, but your cochlea is perfectly normal. So what happens is, depending on the degree of the conductive hearing loss that you have, that determines how much power, how much battery power you need in order to get that message to that good cochlea. So if you have someone with a 65 dB hearing loss, which is about a severe conductive hearing loss, they would most likely need to use the Baha 5 Power, which is the one that goes behind your ear, and they would also most likely want to use the Baha Connect, which is the abutment system, so that it's a direct connection and direct stimulation and goes directly through that bone to the cochlea, and it's not having to go through the skin like the Attract would.
I see. I got it. Thank you.
This is Deb.
Thank you for explaining that. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Can you hear me?
Okay, is this Deb you said? I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, my son wears a Baha 4, I think it is.
Uh-huh.
And he had his skull measured, and it's too thin for the implant at this time. But we can still upgrade to a 5 with the soft band, correct?
That is correct. And just so you know, Deb, I don't know when your son got his soft band, but we actually have a newer soft band now. Is his round, or is it kind of square where the processor hooks on?
Square.
Okay, so there's actually a new soft band that's actually round, and it actually uses a soft pad, a cushioning pad on the back side, so that, and it's kind of like a mattress, you know, that kind of, it shapes to the head, wherever it is, and keeps it from getting sore. So that might be something else that you want to look into, since at this time he's still not thick enough, or thick enough in the skull. That sounds bad. Sorry, that didn't sound right. His skull is not thick enough. His skull is not thick enough to get an implant.
Some days that is the case.
Oh, I know. Yes, that's true. And how old is he? Because, you know, some kids, 5 to 7 is typically when it happens, but sometimes it is later, depending on, obviously, their development and that kind of thing. So
he's almost 10.
Okay.
And we had the X-ray or MRI, whatever, this past summer.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
Hi, this is Eva.
Hi, Eva.
Hi. Can you go back or go forward again a couple of slides when you were talking about the 55 dB with the central neural hearing loss? I didn't quite understand that part. I thought the Baha was just for conductive hearing loss.
Okay, so what happens is some individuals have a mixed hearing loss, which means, you know, that it's conductive and sensory neural together. And so what happens is, when someone has a hearing loss like that, sometimes we can put a more powerful processor on them, sorry, I'm losing my words here, powerful processor, and allow them to have access to sound. So that actually, the 55 dB SNHL, that actually should be conductive hearing loss fitting range is what it should be, not sensory neural hearing loss fitting range.
That's what threw me off.
Yep, sorry, yes.
That's okay.
Does everybody understand the differences between the three processors and the different degrees of hearing loss?
Yes, I understand it.
Okay, perfect.
Kind of.
Okay, what question can I answer to help you better understand? Do you have a question, or would you like for me to re-explain it?
No, I think I'm good. It just
Okay.
take me a few minutes.
Okay. That's like me, I have to process it. So if you're on the phone, or if you're on the PowerPoint, you can see that all three processors are on the top of the slide, and the Baha 5 all it has is a button to change the channels. And as you see, the Baha 5 Power has an LED. It has a button to change the programs and to stream wirelessly, and it also has a volume rocker. And then on the Baha 5 Super Power, we have the on-off and the ability to do the wireless streaming as well. Very much, it works very much like our Nucleus 6 processor does. Any more questions?
Hi, this is Kristen.
Hey, Kristen.
I don't have a question. I just wanted to thank you for the information. I have not been very familiar with the Baha, so I appreciate all of the information. Not that I would be able to explain it to anybody else at this point, but this is a great introduction for me to learn more about the equipment. So thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. And let me give you guys, I can give you guys my phone number, and I can also give you my email address. And you're welcome to contact me. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but my teammate, Gail Anderson, has moved on to another job, and so I'm actually filling in for her. So I am covering all of Illinois at this point. So I used to just have Southern Illinois, but now I have the whole thing. My cell phone number is 314-324-8690. And my email address is S as in Sam, Chinock, CHINNOCK, @cochlear.com. So if you ever need to reach out to me, if you would like materials for a family on Baja, CI, anything, feel free to reach out to me. I'm here as a resource for all of you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sarah, for your help and your time tonight. I know evenings are not necessarily the easiest for professionals, but for families it tends to work out. So appreciate you making the time tonight.
Oh, no problem.
Thank you very much.
If there are any questions that you have, feel free to either contact Sarah directly, or you can contact your guide or somebody within Guide by Your Side, and we'll get you connected in case you lose her information. Thank you all for being on the call, and we look forward to having you join us next month. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.